Hi, Gemini. Thanks for being so patient for your reading this month. I wanted to tell you guys, I was trying to get all the generals out before the full moon on the 1st, because I am a Virgo sun and a Libra rising. It was happening in my 12th house, and it was happening in my first house. So it was a little daunting for me to get everything completed. And then I knew that once the full moon hit, Virgo tends to be very critical, and it also, with like Mercury and Venus going into Aries this week, coming up, actually tomorrow is the 5th, so it'll be going into Aries tomorrow. I really wanted to recalibrate, and I have so many personal readings to complete as well. And so I kind of feel like it's good that I had you guys wait a little bit, because Mercury is going into Aries, and it is meeting up with Venus. So social issues, because Geminis are so very social. There's going to be a lot of social issues around communications with social issues in your circles, friends, family, loved ones, anybody really that you are very close to. Still kind of recalibrating from the Virgo full moon, and I feel like it really affected you guys too, because you do have the tendency, Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury, so we do have that very, like, you guys are a lot more loving and fun-natured than Virgos are, or can be. Virgos can be very fun-loving, but we tend to get the job done first. But because we both communicate really in the same way, and we're both mutable signs, there are a lot of similarities. And I relate to Geminis very easily. My brother is a Gemini. My 2 older boys are Geminis. I feel like this Virgo full moon has kind of, like, it's been a blessing and a curse for you guys. It's like you feel this push to move forward, and you're kind of being a little critical towards everything that's around you. But at the same time, there's this peacefulness that's underlying within it. So really anchor onto that peacefulness, especially in the coming weeks. Jupiter is going to go retrograde, I believe it's the 8th of March. So we're really going to get a time of introspection for the next 4 months as well. So kind of just like hang on to yourselves. Good times are coming. You will be able to get back to your very playful Gemini ways very soon. And I feel like a lot of Geminis have already kind of gotten back to that place where they can be very playful and very fun, but there's still that serious underlying nature to a lot of things, because it was tough. There was a lot of stuff that was happening in air signs the beginning of this year. And so we have the Magician, which is Gemini and Virgo. The Magician is ruled by Mercury. We have the 3 of Cups, and we have the 5 of Swords. If you feel like you're in a situation with either a Virgo or maybe water or another air sign, where you're feeling a little bit, I don't want to say deceived, but like you're not so sure about it, it's a pretty close connection. I feel like they're just in your social circle. And I almost feel like maybe the deception is happening around conversations and stuff. Like you guys go out to dinner one night and you're just hanging out and you're having a really good time, and then all of a sudden somebody says something and it gets under your skin. That's going to be the Mercury and Aries clash that's happening this month. Page of Wands. Fire sign that could possibly be part of that social circle. The messages that are being received for Gemini, the Page of Wands to me is an active listening card. And so whatever is being said, there could possibly be something, some kind of truth to it that maybe you don't want to see. That could be what the Five of Swords is. There could be some kind of truth to it, but you're trying to, like, get around that. You know, there could be some manipulation to it. It's all in the delivery. I feel like with Gemini this month, it's like whoever they're around, they're going to, like, stick with the people that will deliver things to them in an easygoing way. You know, like, I'm not going to deal with, I'm not arguing, I'm not fighting. I want to be, like, super easygoing. And I'm going to make stuff happen, and I'm going to make that happen. The easygoing route. But at the same time, are you doing the easygoing route, or are you deceiving yourself that it's not what you wanted to hear? The Page of Swords. So there is this very childlike bantering happening. Almost. Yeah, 2 pages with the Three of Cups and the Five of Swords. That seems kind of like a... Somebody's outside playing. Somebody's outside playing. That's fine. So, I feel like there is this serious need to maybe, like, step back and look at the reality of the situation and see if what's being said and what's being heard are really the same thing. So I feel like there could be some serious mix-ups in March. And try not to make it, like, a lot of times Geminis don't really make that kind of stuff a big deal. In fact, like, my 14-year-old will look at me and be like, Mom, really? You have to be that dramatic? You know? And that's totally understandable, but if you feel like you have to retreat from people, 4 of Cups, because you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to deal with this back and forth, I don't know if what they're saying to me is right, kind of thing, then do that. Like, do the retreat. Do the recalibration, like what I had to do with this full moon. By the time we get through the second half of March, after all of these eclipses and stuff, the energies are going to get lighter. But man, this Virgo full moon is really going to affect you, only because Virgos and Geminis are a lot more alike than Geminis and Virgos care to admit. You know? There is often that quality where Gemini's like, ugh, Virgo, they're so adult. I don't even want to deal with that adultness right now. I don't want to deal with their drama. I don't want to deal with it. But you may have to be critical. 5 of Wands. Some kind of conflict is happening with you and other people in the beginning of March. And that may be why the energy, like, that may be why it took me so long to get here. Because I like Gemini when you guys are, like, fun and playful. And, I mean, I learn a lot from you guys in that aspect. But you have been a little bit more critical, and you have been a lot more serious lately. And, I mean, I feel like I need to tell some of you to just go take a vacation. Like, you know, I mean, yeah, go to the sun. Go into the sun, because this conflict, I feel like it's not going to be resolved until later this March, until later in March. So retreat. Go within yourself. Do some meditations. Recalibrate. Be the 4 of Cups. You know? And make it happen for yourself. And I feel like this retreat time, this coming in so you don't get in the middle of these conflicts that you really don't want to deal with, like, during that time, I feel like things will become clear for you. And you'll be like, yeah, I totally understand why they were being kind of a jackass. But, you know, I mean, it's just a couple weeks out of the year. Everything will be fine. Like, no big deal, right? Don't let Mercury and Venus in Aries pop your... We got another 5, guys. 5 of Pentacles. Like, what's going on? Because I know a lot of you are really waiting for this reading. And I'm like, is this what you were waiting to hear? You aren't the one to, like, sit in this 4 of Cups state and, like, not do anything about it. And so if that's needed because somebody keeps putting you out, somebody keeps fighting with you, somebody keeps bringing stuff up that doesn't need to be brought up, then sure, go in this 4 of Cups state. But it's really funny because you guys will be the first ones to say, why are you wallowing in your self-pity? Don't do that. Why are you being so apathetic? Don't do that. If you have to remove yourself from this 3 of Cups, I feel like this 3 of Cups is an illusion right now. This very, like, fun, you know, happy-go-lucky time in your life. If you have to remove yourself from that right now, it's okay. Everybody needs to rest, even Gemini. You guys need to rest too, right? We have the 4 of Pentacles. And we have Temperance. The 9 of Swords. And the Hierophant. And the Chariot. And the Tower. Gemini. We haven't seen the Tower in a while. You guys haven't had the Tower for a while, so no wonder. No wonder you want to retreat. What happened here? Because it seems like you're kind of holding on to it. You know, 9 of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles. It seems like you're kind of holding on to it a little bit. Is there manipulation around a Taurus, a Cancer, a Scorpio, a Leo, Sagittarius? Because this Magician to me is kind of screaming manipulation, like loud and clear. Somebody is like in your life trying to make it the way that they want you to. It's like they're trying to get you to act the way they want you to act instead of the way you are. Like, you know. And Geminis don't do that. You know, I mean, like, you guys are, you're not going to be controlled. You're not going to be controlled. The Chariot. So you could be making this Tower situation happen, which isn't a bad thing. You know, we always have to have the Tower for evolution. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in like what we want in our life and all the happy that we want in our life and all the good stuff that we want in our life that we forget that we have to evolve from that sometimes. And sometimes things have to be a little, you know, like shook up a little bit. So if you're like maybe traveling somewhere to see somebody, or you're just in a situation where there are people around you that are like making you kind of explode a little bit, I want to say, like, the beginning of March is a really good time for you to retreat. Kind of come back into your Empress power. So, towards the end of March, you can start to have that new beginning. Like, end the cycle, you know? Come back into that Empress power and then end the cycle with the world. And when I say come back into that Empress power, you can be a man and be an Empress too. It's just coming back into your power, knowing who you are, knowing where you stand. Ending the cycle that starts, you know, it didn't start with the Tower, but man, it came to that Tower. And you pushed it forward. Like if you look at this chariot, look at all the magic behind the chariot there. So if you have to retreat, I will be the first one to tell you that if you have to retreat after a tower moment in your life, what's a tower moment? Tower moment's not scary. Don't be scared. Towers are evolution. Towers are Scorpio. And we're doing that this year, you know, like last year was all about clearing things out. This year's all about rebuilding everything. So if we come into some unstable moments in life, sure. It's okay. It's okay. And you guys are the first ones to be able to do it. I can understand the Knight of Swords action. You're like, I'm going to have this new beginning. I'm not going to have this manipulation or this chaos around me. Or, you know, I'm not going to let this sit up in my head. I would rather be meditating and contemplating than sitting up in my head and not sleeping at night. Right? So I feel like half of you are going to take the contemplation and the meditation time, and the other half of you are going to take the sleeping, the staying up and worrying and sleeping, you know, not sleeping kind of thing happening. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, don't let somebody else knock you down and take your power away from you this month, because you're going to have a chance to build it back up. Don't let the manipulation happen. For sure. Quiet contemplation. Gemini, I know it's really hard to do sometimes. You guys like are the first ones to look at me and be like, I don't do quiet contemplation. Well, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. Take yourself out of the equation of the world and do some quiet time. I put myself in timeouts all the time. I thought you guys might like that. If you want a personal reading from me, check out the InstantGo app or go on my website. I believe there are a few $10 email readings left for March. I will be opening some more up in April. Make sure you check those out. And all of my other personal services are 10% off with the coupon code No Fear. There's no space in between of that. No Fear. 10% off at checkout. Use that. And that's through March. That's a big fat thank you for everybody. Also, all of the donations are helping me keep the videos on YouTube. As you can see, I'm extremely busy with personal readings, and personal readings I get paid for. So those always take priority. So thank you for those who have donated, and that does help open up time for me to be able to do the general readings on YouTube. Thank you so much for all of your support. I love you guys so much, and really take some time for yourself in March. It looks like you guys are going to need a little bit of time, some quiet contemplation. I love you, Gemini. Bye.